All right, so before we get started, go ahead and type in the comments who you think the Giants will take. If you think it'll be Neal and Thibodeau, type Neal, Thibodeau. If you think it'll be Cross, then Sauce, type Cross, Sauce. Matter of fact, if you think it'll be Cross and Sauce, type Chris Cross applesauce. Type Chris Cross big applesauce. But I can't wait to see what you all type in the comments.
Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. So I wanted to get this out of the way. I had some stuff lined up, but I probably will drop it as the draft goes on because I think this is a more relevant video. And you know, most of the time my videos on the Giants, of course, as a Giants channel primarily, are going to probably come first before some of my draft stuff, especially when we're one day before the draft. So we got to get this out of the way as far as Giants go. So people are thinking that the Giants are leaning one way. People are thinking the Giants are leaning another way. It started off with guys like Sauce Gardner. Started off with Thibodeau. And I'll get into Thibodeau a little bit later. They interviewed him at the Combine. He said that the Giants really grilled him. And it seemed like they was kind of grilling from like a big brother, like a mentor kind of thing. Sauce Gardner, we heard that we've been interested in him for months now. We've heard that we're really interested in Charles Cross to the point to where people have gone that extra mile to say that the Giants may like Charles Cross more than any other tackle in this draft. And it makes sense because Charles Cross is the best pass protector in the draft, which is really Twilight Zone to me because it's so difficult to convince people that Charles Cross could be the best tackle when he's already shown, like, it's no debate that he's the best pass blocker. It's like we completely have flipped everything because if we have someone who's a dominant run blocker, who's an okay to below average pass blocker, you can't win with that. You cannot have that guy out there. But if you have somebody who's a dominant pass blocker and an average to below average run blocker, you can win easy with that because you're throwing the ball most of the time. So that was just something I noticed. But I mean, the upside of Aquanu and the upside of Neal, especially because Neal is already, I think, a good to a great pass protector. So that's why I would kind of give Neal the edge. He's got the frame, he's got the size, he's a guy that just moves people, and he's already a good to great pass blocker, especially at the college level. So that's why I would do that. But we've been interested in a ton of people. And a couple of days ago, I was on the Hubs channel. We were on there with Justin Pennick from Talking Giants. And the Hub says, anything you got as far as that. And I think Justin also talked about this on the Talking Giants most recent podcast. And he said that the Giants are leaning towards Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau, which is no big surprise. I mean, those two seem like dream scenario picks to the Giants. So I wouldn't see that as a big surprise. But Evan Neal, to me, again, as I just said, is the most well-rounded pass blocker. And Kayvon Thibodeau is who I believe to have the highest ceiling as a pass rusher. And it's crazy to me that Trayvon Walker has been talked about at number 1, at number 4 for the Jets, at whatever, because Trayvon Walker is such a raw prospect that, yes, he could end up being a really great player, but he also could just end up being not that good of a player or just a solid player. Because when I look at, excuse me, correct me if I'm wrong, but I look at Kayvon Thibodeau's raw tools, they're a lot more exciting than Trayvon Walker's raw tools. He's the prototype 3-4 outside linebacker for a pass rusher. Trayvon Walker is more of a projection. He's more of a 4-3 edge kind of guy. I don't think you probably could consider him putting him at 3 tech, but I would keep him there at that 4-3 defensive end, see if you can develop him. But he's not. He just doesn't have those same physical tools. Yes, he's got the size for a 4-3 guy, but it's not like he has that Von Miller build or the Khalil Mack build or anything like that. He's like 270 something pounds. So that's just something I noticed. But if Kayvon Thibodeau can fall to the Giants, I think that's a home run situation because you go to December. You go to after the last college game of the year. Or, after the last college game of the year where people are down on Aiden Hutchinson because he didn't take over that entire game. You go to that moment in time, and we weren't that far removed from people talking about Kayvon Thibodeau being the bona fide number one pick. And since then, no football has been played. Nothing else has changed as far as on the field. And all of a sudden, Kayvon Thibodeau goes from the consensus number one pick to a guy that some people are trying to take out of the first round, a guy that some people are trying to take out of the top 10. I think he should definitely go top 3, but some people are trying to take him out of the top 5. But I think that all of this stuff is noise. I just don't buy that the guy doesn't care about football because he just the reports out there are that Kayvon Thibodeau is cocky. He doesn't feel like he needs to learn much. But I just think the dude is confident. You get him in here, you coach him up. He's never shown, that he wasn't dedicated to football. So I'm just not going to buy that stuff. So I do believe wholeheartedly that he will not make it past the Jets. So who's your next option? Because the Giants' two biggest needs and the two probably besides quarterback, the two, maybe you could throw cornerback in there, but the two most important positions are pass rusher and tackle. And we need a tackle and a pass rusher. And with guys like David Ojabo there before he got hurt, we were a shoe-in to get a pass rusher and a tackle if we wanted one. I'm very sure that Charles Cross will be there. If somebody loves Charles Cross more than Ekwonu or Neal, one of the tackles are going to be there when we pick. But if Aiden Hutchinson is gone, if Thibodeau is gone, and you got Trayvon Walker, it's all about what happens with that Trayvon Walker pick. But let's just say that Trayvon Walker stuff is noise, and Hutchinson and Thibodeau are gone, and the Giants don't like Trayvon Walker. Who are you leaning to? Carl Loftus is a guy that I'm high on, but the Giants may not be high on him. Jermaine Johnson is a guy that I'm not that high on as far as a top, 7 pick. I think he's a teens guy or a 20s guy, to be honest with you. But you got an assortment of guys who are a full step down from what you like with Thibodeau and Hutchinson. So you can't go that way. And your entire plan as far as getting that edge and getting that tackle at that point could be ruined. So I think that one of these picks, I think the pick at 5, 100%, unless there's 2 tackles on the board at 5, I think the pick at 5, 100%, will be the best tackle on the Giants board. So that'll be Charles Cross or it'll be Evan Neal. Now, if Neal doesn't make it there and Cross doesn't make it there, I think they will take Ekwonu. But I think they will take the best tackle on their board. And I think at this point, from projecting and thinking about what tackle will be where, especially since the Jets now have decided that they probably will be moving on from Mekhi Becton, they might go Neal, but that would leave Thibodeau. But I do believe that 100% the pick at 5, unless they trade it, will be an offensive tackle. So we got that pick squared away. I'm 100% sure I would put money on it. If you need to put money on a position of betting, I will put money that they're going to take a guy at 5 because the Panthers are right after us at 6. And they've been trying to move out of that position because they might like a quarterback there, but they don't want to take a quarterback there. So at number 6, they're probably going to be looking for an offensive tackle. And we're not going to be able to make that pick at 7. Now, some rumblings I heard today are the funky Eagles and the funky Cowboys are plotting right now to try to trade up in front of us at 7 to get Thibodeau. I'm fine with that. I believe that shoring up that offensive tackle position across from Andrew Thomas is the most important thing, and everything else there is icing. This is a pick that we're playing with house money with. This is the Bears' old pick. So I'm fine with it. If they want to trade up to do that, that's what they have to do. But if Thibodeau is still there, that'll be the pick. Because you look at it, let's do a quick count. You got, let's just say Walker goes 1. Hutchinson goes 2. Number 3, you got the Texans. Let's say they take Ekwonu there. And then you got the Jets. Let's say they take Evan Neal. I think at that point, the Giants are going to take Charles Cross because they need to shore up that position. Then at 6, the The Panthers won't have that tackle there, so they'll probably either, I don't think they'll look at penning, so they'll probably either trade it to the Cowboys or Eagles if they're really serious about trading, or what they'll do is they'll just take a quarterback, which is what we want them to do. But if they trade it, say the Eagles trade up and take Thibodeau, fine. We have a choice of Kyle Hamilton. We have a choice of Derek Stingley. We have a choice of Carl Loftus if we want, who I think is well worth that pick. I wouldn't be mad and angry if we took Jermaine Johnson. I do believe he can be a good starter. Um, you got Derek Stingley. I don't know if I said that already. You got Ahmad Gardner. So there's about 5 players who I would be fine with the Giants taking. I would even be fine with the Giants taking Kenyon Green, but I don't think they'll double up on the offensive line in the first round. But if Thibodeau doesn't fall to us at 7 because someone decides to trade up in front of us, we can get a starting cornerback, and it looks like we're moving Bradbury this weekend. So if we can get that starting cornerback who can replace Bradbury and maybe even be an upgrade, we're just fine. If for some reason no one trades up and we can get Thibodeau, I think that's a home run. Because you look back 4 months and he was a consensus number 1 overall pick. So if you ask me who the Giants are going to go with, if I had to predict, right now I will say Charles Cross and I'll say Kayvon Thibodeau. So after that, it's going to be one of the corners. It's just going to be one of the corners. If Thibodeau isn't there at 7, it's going to be, I think, this is my bias right here. I would love to have Stingley on the Giants. I'll say Stingley first, and then I'll say Gardner second. But I believe they probably want Gardner more. But putting this out there as the 2 Giants picks, Charles Cross at 5, Kayvon Thibodeau at 7. So you guys let me know what you're thinking. Am I wrong? You go ahead and weigh in the comments. You made it this deep into the video. Come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.